1992. In 1992, the top English clubs ditched the Football League and created the Premier League, a shiny breakaway product backed by Sky Sports. Basically more money and more cameras. Sky Sports had just one criteria: share less money with the poor clubs. Deal. The football was rough. Tactical innovation meant maybe passing once before hoofing it long. Pitches looked like they'd been used for tractor pulls and the tackles were prison-worthy. But then happened Manchester United. After decades of failure, Sir Alex Ferguson finally cracked it. In 1993, United won the first Premier League title, powered by the arrival of the genius Eric Cantona. He received Man of the Match awards while karate kicking a fan in the chest. Told you, quite genius. But in 1995, there was Blackburn Rovers. Yes, them. They won the league, bankrolled by steel tycoon Jack Walker and led by Alan Shearer. Elsewhere, there was Chelsea, who were mid-table party guests, and Liverpool were allergic to consistency. But there was one club who came seriously close to Manchester United: Arsenal. Arsène Wenger arrived in '96 looking like an economics professor and changed everything. Diets, training, philosophy. He even taught English football what a back four was supposed to do. His Arsenal side went toe-to-toe with United in one of the league's fiercest rivalries. An unbeaten season in 2003-04, 0 losses. A midfield with Vieira and Pires, Henry in God mode, and Dennis Bergkamp doing things that broke the laws of physics and ankles. But even they couldn't last, because while Arsenal were busy drawing 1-1 with Bolton, United just kept refreshing. But then, Roman happened. To be precise, Roman Abramovich. In 2003, a Russian billionaire named Roman Abramovich bought Chelsea and treated it like real-life football manager. He hired Jose Mourinho, a man who called himself the Special One, and backed it up with parked buses and perfectly timed esh-thousery. Chelsea bullied the league into submission with Drogba, Terry and Lampard. Still, even Roman's millions couldn't topple Fergie's empire for long. By the time United reached 2013, Sir Alex had won 13 Premier League titles, closely followed by Tottenham. Nah, just joking. Ferguson retired that summer, leaving David Moyes with a squad of aging stars, shattered expectations, and the Premier League equivalent of a cursed monkey paw. The post-Fergie hangover. Instant. The spell was broken. Moyes struggled. Van Gaal painted sideways. Mourinho returned and tried rage as a tactic. Nothing clicked. Sir Alex Ferguson built the most ruthless machine the Premier League had ever seen, and when he walked away, he took the keys with him. Suddenly, United were led by David Moyes, a man whose tactical plan felt like reading IKEA instructions in the dark. He lasted less than a season. It's 2011, and Manchester City, now with full-blown financial nitro in the tank, decided to take the throne by force. They bought and bought and bought some more. Silva, Aguero, Yaya Touré, Vincent Kompany. It was like watching someone play FIFA career mode with an unlimited budget. 2011-12 was the year of the final minute. That Aguero moment. QPR forgot how to defend, and City won their first Premier League title in 44 years. On goal difference. United fans? Absolutely floored. Fergie? Frozen. Chelsea cycled through more managers than clean sheets. Carlo Ancelotti? Sacked after finishing second. But in the middle of it all, 2012 happened. Chelsea, the team that couldn't hold a lead in the league, somehow parked the bus across Europe and won the Champions League. Didier Drogba's last act before bouncing to China was heading in the equaliser and smashing the winning penalty. Some later Suarez arrived at Liverpool. Goals, assists, nutmegs, red cards, racism charges, biting defenders. This man did everything. 2013-14 was his magnum opus. 31 goals. Absolute destruction. Liverpool looked destined to win the title. Then Steven Gerrard slipped. Chelsea capitalised, and Liverpool's dream turned to dust in real time. City took the title again, with Yaya Touré scoring from every blade of grass, and Manuel Pellegrini managing like a chilled-out accountant with a genius for attack. Let's talk Spurs. Or not. They had Gareth Bale, turned him into a world-class player, and then sold him to Madrid for a few pounds. They used that money to buy whatever the opposite of smart recruitment is. Roberto Soldado? Anyone? Arsenal, still living off memories of 2004, kept doing the same thing every season. Start strong, title talk by October, injury crisis by December, 4th place scramble by May. But hey, they finally won an FA Cup in 2014, first trophy in nearly a decade. Oh, and VAR didn't exist yet, which meant fans just argued about referee conspiracies instead of frame-by-frame pixel analysis. Good times. Now the late 2000s and 10s, gone with the days of 4-4-2 and shouting, lump it forward. In came a new breed of manager, the philosopher coach, bald, intense, and probably powered by Excel. First came Guardiola. Pep walked into Manchester City in 2016 like a perfectionist dad trying to fix a DIY disaster. He took one look at the squad, said nope, and proceeded to yeet half of them into the footballing abyss. Out went fullbacks who tackled, in came inverted wingbacks, false nines, and quite easy instructions like stand here but also be everywhere. His City sides broke records, broke teams, and broke our brains trying to explain what exactly a positional play zone rotation was. They won 100 points in a season like it was nothing. He reinvented the winger, the goalkeeper, the throw-in, but then Klopp arrived. If Pep was chess, Klopp was rock and roll. His Liverpool played football like a punk band. Fast, loud, relentless, and occasionally out of tune. Gegenpressing wasn't just a tactic, it was a lifestyle. Lose the ball, win it back in 3 seconds, or get subbed into the Merseyside. Klopp turned doubters to believers and made Henderson look like prime Iniesta. He weaponized Anfield, he resurrected Milner's career, and he built a front three, Salah, Mane, Firmino, that felt like GTA cheat code. In 2020, he finally broke Liverpool's 30-year title drought with a side that ran like a Tesla on Red Bull. Tottenham, under Pochettino, almost became everyone's second favourite team. Chill, I said almost. They pressed like demons, reached a Champions League final, and then immediately combusted like a cursed Jenga tower. Spurs bottled it so elegantly it became part of their branding. Elsewhere, Leicester did the unthinkable in 2016. Won the title at 5,000 to 1 odds, led by Jamie Vardy, a striker forged in a lab powered by Monster Energy and Spike. Ran all over the Big Six like they owed him money. It wasn't tactical, it was chaos, belief, and N'Golo Kante covering 90% of the pitch. This was the era analytics kicked the door down. XG entered the chat. Clubs hired data scientists. Suddenly, your club's performance analyst had more influence than the assistant manager. Press resistant became a compliment. Midfielders weren't judged by goals. They were judged by heat maps. The result? A league that looked smarter, sharper, and somehow more chaotic, because for every Guardiola or Klopp, there were still Big Sam and Sean Dyche. Now it's 2021, the world is in lockdown, fans are banned from stadiums, and football's elites look around and think, you know what would really help right now? The so-called Super League. Or as I call it, the Greed Olympics. 12 clubs, 6 from the Premier League, tried to secede from reality and invent a league without relegation. Arsenal signed up for it while sitting in 9th. Spurs were on board too because apparently they had elite status now. Such weirdos. Gary Neville going full revolutionary on live TV. In just 48 hours, the Super League went from secret cabal to spectacular implosion. Chelsea fans were literally blocking the team bus. Manchester United fans stormed Old Trafford. Even Florentino Perez gave interviews. The message was clear: football's soul isn't for sale. Well, not completely, because Newcastle United were quietly becoming Newcastle Oil FC thanks to a little help from the Saudi Public Investment Fund, cue moral debates, uncomfortable questions, and Alan Shearer trying to look happy without screaming, "Where was this in 2007?" City, meanwhile, kept winning titles with terrifying efficiency. Guardiola built another robo-squad and won a treble in 2023. Liverpool wobbled. United still looked lost in the post-Fergie wilderness. Chelsea, they started collecting managers for fun and spent £600 million on vibes. Arsenal found their rhythm under Arteta, top of the league by Christmas, existential crisis by April. Meanwhile, Brighton and Brentford showed up with spreadsheets, coaching, and no budget, and started schooling everyone. Brighton sold half their team and still beat top 6 sides. Brentford had Ivan Toney betting on himself and winning. And then there's VAR, a system designed to increase fairness that instead turned every goal into a courtroom drama. Offside by a toenail. Handball if the moon's in retrograde. You've got now kids in Bangkok arguing about Trent's defensive positioning like they've got a coaching badge. Not that you need that for it. You've got TikTokers doing midfield tier lists like they're solving world hunger or something. You've got grown adults screaming about expected goals in the replies of a YouTube highlight reel that ends with, "Please like and subscribe." And let's not even talk about transfer season. Fabrizio Romano drops a "Here we go," and it trends harder than election results. Clubs now drop signings with Marvel-style trailers. Welcome to Arsenal Declan Rice felt more like the launch of a Netflix series than a footballer's new job. Managers have become mythologized. Pep is a philosopher king with a marker pen and a 6-part tactical docuseries. Klopp is a cult leader in a baseball cap. Arteta is a vibes merchant with a PowerPoint. Even Roy Hodgson's return to management was treated like a nostalgia reboot no one asked for, but somehow worked. And the players? Basically brands. Erling Haaland scores 52 goals in a season and everyone questioned if he's human. Jack Grealish becomes the most relatable lad on earth by staying drunk for a week after the treble. Marcus Rashford feeds more kids than that he scores goals. Meanwhile, Mason Mount switched clubs and broke football Twitter like it was a divorce announcement. State-owned clubs dominate the game while UEFA pretends it's fine, and every January Todd Boehly wakes up and drops £100 million on a winger no one's heard of, like it's Black Friday. But here's the twist. The chaos is the appeal. The unpredictability, the weekly scandals, the fact that Bournemouth might outplay Chelsea while Everton get docked 10 points for existing. Football's soul isn't gone, it's just on loan, with an option to buy. Nowadays, it's Manchester City, who normally operate like a perfect machine programmed to win trophies and confuse UEFA lawyers. Since 2020, Pep Guardiola has turned positional play into a religion. He's got centre-backs who play as midfielders, midfielders who become full-backs, and Erling Haaland scoring hat-tricks like it's another Saturday. Meanwhile, Liverpool are now peaking and combusting in the same breath. Slot's side went straight to the top with a right-back who can't even defend. Arsenal, yes, Arsenal, from meme culture to becoming legit title contenders again. Mikel Arteta, once Pep's cone guy, is becoming a manager with a master plan and more motivational quotes than a fitness influencer. In 2022-23, they led the league for months, played eye-melting football, and yeah, you know already. But then there's Chelsea, or as we now call them, Chaos FC. Post-Abramovich, the Todd Bowley era has been a crash course in how not to run a football club. Yeah, I know they won the Conference League. No one cares. They spent over £1 billion in 1 year, bought every midfielder born after 2002, sacked multiple managers, and now ended up qualifying for the Champions League. Manchester United is still lost in the woods. Every manager since Fergie has tried something. Philosophy, pragmatism, PowerPoints. Eric Ten Hag seemed promising, until the squad started falling apart faster than Anthony's stepovers. They won a Carabao Cup, which is nice, but this isn't the United that used to eat teams alive in Fergie time. It's one that prays for clean sheets at home to Fulham. And speaking of Fulham, let's talk underdogs. Brighton sells their best player every window and somehow get better. They lose their manager to Chelsea, hired Roberto De Zerbi, who played football like it's art school on fire. Brentford run on data, vibes, and Mbumo. Newcastle went from existential despair to state-funded superpower almost overnight. Backed by the Saudi Public Investment Fund, they spent smart, mostly, played smart, and made a Champions League return in record time. It's controversial, complicated, but very, very Premier League. Just now laugh, but now Tottenham, still allergic to trophies. Kane left, Son smiled through the pain, and Ange Postecoglou arrived to play attacking football and speak in Australian one-liners. Spurs are fun again, which of course means Heartbreak is scheduled for May. Referees are even mic'd up nowadays. VAR is a villain arc. Managers are meme machines. And transfer rumours treated like leaks from Area 51. And amid it all, the Super League still lurks. Greed didn't die, it just rebranded. Financial fair play is a myth. UEFA hands out slaps on the wrist, and everyone knows it's just a matter of time before another breakaway league idea rises from the ashes of incompetence.